So I've got a couple of slides here to go through just some of the resources that are available if you need help with the project tracker. And there's a lot of different things to talk about here. There's the in-system support, so the things that are actually in the project tracker. There's off-system support. I'll walk through a few documents that we've created either for other Project Firma users and specifically for the John Day Basin Partnership. I'll talk a bit about the Project Firma community and how you can use that as a resource. And then finally, talk a bit about Sitka's role going forward and how we can support you. So the in-system support, what I mean by this, I'm actually going to jump out of the PowerPoint for a moment and pull up the browser. So this is the John Day Basin Partnership Project Tracker website. And when I say in-system support, I mean what is actually built into the tool to help you use the tool. So there are a couple of things that I just want to point out here. And this will be a repeat of some things for those of you who were at the training in January. In the project tracker, there's a help menu over here on the far right. And within the help menu, there's a few different options. There's a tab called training. If I click into that, this is where those training videos are stored. So if you're looking for specific information about how to manage your user account, this pretty short video, I think this is about 2 minutes long, will give you a nice overview of how to do that. And so there's a handful of training videos here about how to request support, how to add a project, updating a project. And we'll also, after this training today, cut these administrative videos and make those available to you as well. So that's one piece of the in-system support. Another thing that I wanted to point out about what's built into the tool to help you use it, I'm going to pull up another tab here. So here I'm looking at a project detail page. This is all of the information about the Upper John Day LiDAR project. And you'll see throughout all the pages within the Project Firma project tracker, there are these little question marks. And that little icon is a link that will get you help on what that specific term means. So in this case, for project type, if I click that, it has a little pop-up here that says, okay, project type is the type of project or actions that will ultimately lead to achieving goals associated with the partnership's priorities. All right, so that's just this built-in support about what does project stage mean. And those are all throughout all of the pages within the project tracker. If we have time later today, I'll show you that you as administrators of this system can edit those default definitions if there's specific information you want to add. So I'll show you how to do that. All right, the other thing I wanted to point out about in-system support, I'm going to need to log in to show you this part. Now that I'm logged in here, I have more access to other menu items, including a manage menu and a configure menu. I'm going to pull up just one specific page. And what I wanted to point out here is that on almost all of the pages on the manage and configure menu, which are just available to you as administrators, there's help text at the top of each page, which will sort of explain what this page means and what you can do. So that's the in-system support that I think will be helpful to you as you get in the project tracker and start using it. Any questions about that? The help menu or field definitions, page instructions? All right, I'm gonna move on here. So there's only so much we can cram into the tool with all the instruction text and the field definition menus. So as what we've learned as people have been using Project Firma is that there is a need for some external documentation about how some of this works. We previously shared with you a customization guide that is all about setting up the project tracker from the ground up. So it's really documenting the decisions that need to be made to get the project tracker in the best usable state for your specific program. So that's what we've been working through over the last couple months, is how to customize the Project Firma application to fit for the John Day Basin partnership. That being said, there is a lot of information in that customization guide about how specific things work. So if you've got questions about something, the customization guide is a good resource for you. We're also putting together what we're calling an administrator's quick guide. And this is something we realized was necessary because once you've finished the configuration of the Project Firma project tracker, there's still some management actions that you'll need to take to make sure things are running smoothly. Again, I'm going to jump out of the PowerPoint here and pull up a Word document. So this is a work in progress. We're putting our finishing touches on it. I need to do some final proofreading before we share it with you. But this is meant to be just like a 10-page, lots of images guide about how to do some specific things in the project tracker. And those include just defining what the roles are and how permissions work, an overview of all of the email notifications that are built into Project Firma, and then a couple common how-tos. So a lot of what's in this guide, I'll be doing live in a demo for you today, but if you're someone who likes to read technical documentation to figure out how something works, this will hopefully be a good resource for you. Any questions about those two document resources? And we'll also make sure that those two documents are on that training page within the system as well, so you can quickly download them.
Customization guide should be there already.
Yes. Yeah, and Kathleen just said the customization guide is already linked in the training page, and the administrator quick guide will be linked there as well shortly. All right, I'm going to move on here. Another resource we want you to be aware of is the Project Firma user group community. So you've selected Project Firma as your project tracking system, and with that comes this really great resource of a bunch of different organizations and partnerships who are also using Project Firma. And we, Sitka, as sort of the Project Firma development team, we host quarterly user group meetings and get people together from all different organizations to talk about new features in Project Firma, how specific things work, and then even just other larger topics that are of interest to this group of people, such as like, how do you manage your project updates? How do you get your project implementers to actually get in there and update their information? So it's a way to share best practices and get questions answered with those user group meetings. In addition to those formal meetings that we hold every quarter or so, I also want you to be aware that there's this whole group of community members, so like Carrie Stiles at the Puget Sound Partnership, Jean McNamara at Tahoe Regional Planning Agency, of really natural resource and conservation management professionals who have been doing these things for years, who are happy to talk with you about your program and how you're using Project Firma, and even outside of the technical project management piece about how you're doing conservation efforts. So that community is a really great group of people, and I do encourage you to reach out to people if you feel like you've got questions, or let me know and I'll put you in touch with someone who might be able to answer a question you have. In that same vein, we are working on a community forum to provide a place for folks to come together. I'm not sure what the timeline for that is. There will probably be more information about it at the Project Firma user group meeting, which is next week. Any questions about the Project Firma community? All right. Okay, I'm gonna move on here. Okay, so this is finally another resource as us here at Sitka, and specifically the Sitka staff and the project from a product manager, who right now is Matt Deniston, who's also a partner here at Sitka. So if you've exhausted your other resources, you've used the field definitions, looked at the administrator quick guide, and you still don't understand how something works, please feel free to reach out to us by using the request support form within the tool. And the reason I ask you to do that is because it will, when you submit that request support, it will go to our project team and the project from a product manager. So we'll make sure that the right person gets your request. In addition to being there to answer the questions, we also want to hear from you. So if you have ideas about new features, or you think you've encountered a bug, or you're having some success or some challenges, we definitely want to hear about those, because that's what keeps this project from a community vibrant, and gives us the opportunity to put things on the product backlog. And then we'll track those things across not just the John Day Basin partnership, but also the Clackamas partnership and the Puget Sound partnership, and find areas where there's a common need within the system and make sure we're building out the project from a system to work for the most people.